Hello everybody and welcome back to our Q&A Wednesdays. As ever, thank you very much to our Patreon supporters and our Instagram followers for providing us with this week's questions. So, without further ado, let's get straight onto it. The first question then from our Patreon supporters is from Paul U. I do hope I've said that right. You spell Y-O-U-E. Paul says, I'm in the process of doing up a 2006 T5 van and looking for an upgrade on the 1+2 standard seats. I would like to replace them. I'm going to elaborate on what is said here on the question. I would like to replace them with 2 single captain swivel seats in leather, possibly heated seats if available, as money is not too much of an issue, within reason, but need somewhere to start looking if you have any recommendations. But comfort is key as we're going to be doing a lot of miles. So, Paul, the first place I would start looking is actually on eBay. And that is my alarm. Every single time we do something, I will learn to turn this off. Okay, just goes to show that this is all real. Okay, so Paul, I would suggest then you look on eBay, believe it or not. There are companies out there who import seats from European vans. T5s and T6s from Europe were normally of a higher spec, so things like leather and heated seats are more readily available from European sellers. Namely Poland. I've bought seats for customers' vehicles from before, and they always come from the likes of Poland. So that's where I would start looking, certainly on eBay, for a used, if not very good, a new, if not very good, used set. If they aren't heated, just to let you know, you can retrofit heating kits into those seats, and if you have any issues, in fact, maybe one day we'll film retrofitting heating kits into your seat. I hope that's helped, Paul. Thank you for your question. Next then is from L. Murray. He says, hi guys, I have factory fitted VW sliding windows on my 2007 T5 which leak like a sieve. Is there a cheeky little hack to sort this issue, or is it a case of living with it or replacing the windows? I hope you're all keeping safe. Al, thank you very much. We're all keeping very safe. Thank you very much. VW sliding windows on T5s are absolute tat. It's a known fact. In fact, some people go to the extent of, as soon as they have their combi ordered, they will have the VW factory windows whipped out and have some alternative sliding windows put in by another company. They're rubbish. It's the mechanism. They tried to use almost like a rod locking system with metal and plastic parts, and the runners aren't very good either, but there are some very good other companies out there who supply sliding windows for a T5, T6. For a cheeky little hack to stop the leaking, just put some sealant in them. If you're not planning on opening them anytime soon, just put some sealant around them. That'll be the best bet, just as a cheeky little hack, until you can get them fixed. Next question is from Robert Marsden. Hi guys, I have a Mercedes Vito 9-seater ready to convert into a camper van. Would you be able to point me in the right direction? I want to put a pop-top roof in, but also it will have a respray, including sound and insulation and kit out. In what order would be best? Many thanks. I would take the van for its bodywork and respray first, but if your chosen body shop is a good one, they will potentially allow you to have your roof fitted, or at least the starting process of the roof fitted before it's in paint. So if whoever's going to be fitting your roof, or the body shop might be able to do that, they can cut the big hole in the top, put the infrastructure of the roof inside, and then test fit the roof in its position, right? Then you will take the roof back off, have the van and the roof painted in the same colour, and then you'll be able to put the roof back on that van, and that will enable you to have a completely fresh painted van. And then when the canvas of the roof gets sealed around the edges, there won't be any different lines between the old paint colour, the new paint colour, and there won't be any risk of overspray on your brand new canvas. Most converters, the first thing they will do on any camper conversion, say from a straight panel van, is cut the holes out first. That means window holes, roof holes, vent holes, anything. They're the first things to be done. Then you'd go for sound deadening and insulation, and then the rest of it after that. So I hope that helps, Robert. Thank you for your question. Next is from Andrew. He says, hi guys, I'm installing rear passenger seats to my Vito. In brackets, he says, good to see I'm not the only one here with a Vito. To do that, I have cut holes in my wooden floor for the fittings and then drill through the metal floor. I will get a mechanic to look at it once done, but any advice on the best way to line everything up? Thanks, Andrew. Right, Andrew, when you're fitting seats or you're drilling new holes to fit seats and you want everything lined up, you need a datum point, a point that is easily measured from the top of the van and the bottom of the van. Now, what we have used in the past is maybe the boot lock on the back, or right at the tailgate of the vehicle. That's a really good datum point to start from. Or if you're looking for a completely flat surface, putting something like a straight edge or a spirit level across the back of the front seats. That will give you like a good point to measure from. Failing that, if you can't find anything, I would have somebody underneath the van and somebody on the top of the van, and you would potentially drill some very small pilot holes in the intended areas where you want to put the mounting points, and seeing where those holes actually come out. You've got to be absolutely sure though that you're completely clear underneath, completely clear on the top, and you're being as safe as possible, that you're not going to nick any brake lines or fuel lines or anything like that. But yes, measure, and have somebody that's spotting you from underneath or up top, depending on which way you are drilling, okay? And if you are wanting to put a safe seat in, don't just find those square washers to put your seat in. Actually measure the areas and have the biggest plates you can possible underneath the floor, maybe even big metal plates wrapped around things like chassis rails where you're going to bolt things to the floor. The safer, the more metal work you can put under there to spread the load of those bolts for the seats, the absolute better. All right, I hope that's helped, Andrew. Dan has the next question. He says, hi team, I'm a massive fan of the channel and you've helped me loads. Quick question, I'm putting sticky back vinyl flooring. How would you start laying it down? I.e., would you start from the middle of the van or would you start in a corner? I'm not sure. All help is appreciated. My van is a Peugeot Expert H2L2. Thanks, keep up the good work and stay safe. Thank you, Dan. If it's sticky back vinyl flooring, you haven't specified whether it's like the planks for fake wood slats, or whether it's tiles, or whether it's just one whole big piece. If it's tiles, start from a straight edge. It's almost like if you're tiling a bathroom, you've got to make sure at least one very noticeable edge has got the whole tiles on. You don't want to be having a half or funny cut tile right in the middle of the bathroom, underneath the mirror, above the sink, things like that. You've got to plan out. In fact, there's a good start. If they are tiles, lay out the tiles on the floor dry in the best pattern, and then you can say start from a straight line at the edge of the sliding door, for example. That's always good to have your whole tiles right at that edge of the sliding door aperture where you're going to be walking in and out. So maybe start from that edge and then work backwards from there, because it's natural for some half tiles to maybe disappear under some interior units. If it's the planks, again, I would start from maybe that sliding door edge, so you've got the whole ones working from the sliding door aperture or the sliding door step back. If it's a whole piece of vinyl sticky back floor, in terms of sticking, if it's a sticky back, what did you say? It's a sticky back vinyl flooring. So if it's a peel and stick, start with the far corner and only peel back a little bit at a time. Don't peel the whole lot and stick the whole lot down in one. So peel a little bit down, glue, or stick that one strip down on the furthest edge, and then work your way back towards, say, the sliding door steps, stuff like that. I do hope that helps. Maybe a little bit more information next time, Dan, and then I might be able to help you a little bit more. But if you've got any other points, just email us or message via Patreon. The last one then from Patreon is Richard Davies. He says, hi guys, the end of my conversion is in sight. Congratulations to you. With pretty much just the furniture to put together and then install the bed, I'm starting to think about kitchen accessories and other things that will always stay in the van. What are good ways to keep things together and prevent them from crashing around whilst driving? Any lessons to be learned from your experience with campers? Good planning when you're building your units is a really good start. So if you've got one area just for pots and pans, as you're actually constructing that interior, if you are building it all yourself from scratch, maybe buy a pot and pan set or a crockery or pot cups or whatever it may be, and plan where they're going to go and maybe build your units around them. If you want everything in its own individual place, again, nice bit of planning, and then maybe if you know somebody who's handy with a bit of CAD, or a CNC machine or something like that. I've seen quite a few more overland type trucks, 4x4 type trucks, that are going to be bouncing around the trail as they go from one site to another. They will have full-on slots, dedicated slots for each plate, cup, knife, fork, whatever it may be. So that's a really good start. Lots of padding if you don't have that option. And maybe the the little screw-on elasticated nets are very good for keeping things in place as well. Don't use that silly stuff you can get from the pound shop that says your items won't move. I can't remember what it's called now. You put it on your dash so stuff doesn't roll around on your dash. It's crap. You can't stick it down properly. It'll always roll up or fold. So actually get some proper padding down. I think that's about as much as I can suggest, actually, Richard. Yeah, so dedicated spaces for dedicated things, and if you do know somebody who can design you up some maybe drawer or cupboard inserts, that'll be the best bet. Thank you very much, Richard. And that's all for the Patreon questions. So straight onto Instagram. We don't have a quick fire round today. I'll be reading them. Dan is doing other things. We're so busy at the moment, so that's all down to you guys. Thank you very much. First then from Instagram is @Ben_Baber83. Is there anything you don't like doing when converting? The first cut is always quite daunting. So if you're cutting out a roof of a van with only 3 miles on the clock, that's always quite daunting. I think that's about it, really. I just enjoy it all. I really enjoy creating. I like doing the plumbing, I like doing the gas, I like doing the electrics, the carpeting, all that sort of stuff, really. Yeah, so it's making those big cuts, because especially on a brand new vehicle, if you've made that big cut wrong, then you're in a world of pain. And damaging a vehicle, because I've done that before. That's really not a good idea when you're converting somebody else's car. You've got to be super careful. Thanks, Ben, for your question. Next question then is from @Peak79. He's got a two-part question. Number one, he says, can you make an episode about changing the shifter, something like a big shot shifter? You'll have to give us a bit more information on that. About which vehicle, the big shot, is that something like an air-cooled Volkswagen? I'm not entirely sure, dude. But maybe ask us next time with a bit more details. Part two of that question, if you change your headlights with LED, is it best to change all of your lights into LED? It's completely up to you. I would certainly look into replacing your headlights with LEDs, because there is MOT guidelines and stipulations about having vehicles that weren't originally fitted with a daytime running light or an LED light, about then retrofitting those daytime running lights or LED lights. So be careful when it comes to maybe investing a few £100 into some nice posh LED lights, that you're actually allowed to do it and that you don't have to take them out for an MOT, or it's not going to pass your MOT. Thanks for your question. Next one is from @Kelly_Camper_T5. The question says, in a twin sliding T5, can you have overhead locker storage in the kitchen area? Yeah, why not? Yes, it might restrict the access to your sliding door, but I'm sure the whole interior across that sliding door would restrict the access also. It is down to the design of the overhead storage locker, and also how you mount it into the metalwork of the van. In fact, we spoke last week about how to install overhead lockers in a vehicle. by the use of rib nuts and stuff. So check last week's Q&A Wednesday. Oh, nearly finished. So nearly there. So the next one is at VW Bertie. Rear disc brake conversion. Is there a straight fit handbrake cable from a VAG vehicle? Now we know VW Bertie, he has a VW T3 or Type 25 if you're in the UK. Depends what oh my gosh, can I hardly speak today? It depends what rear disc brake conversion you have put on. There are lots of kits out there and they always use a different handbrake cable. So not the straightest of answers I can give you, I'm afraid. Maybe email me and I will take a look in more detail for you. Next one is from @ChrisVine92. Suggestions on how to neaten up unused screw holes in barn doors if not carpeting the whole door. A couple of things. What we have done in the past, and we asked the customer about doing this first because I wasn't entirely happy with it, but it turned out to be quite a neat solution. So for example, if you have a white van and you want to fill the holes, you can actually get white headed rivets. They look quite smart, so you can just fill in the holes with white headed rivets. That looks quite good. Alternatively, you can pop a rivet in that hole and use some colour match paint just to dab over that very, very carefully, and that can neaten up screw holes. You could always put another screw in that hole with an attractive head. Again, that's completely up to you what you find attractive, but anything is better than just a plain old drilled or screwed hole in the back of your barn door. Again, I hope that's helped everybody. Thank you so much for your questions. As ever, we shall be doing exactly the same next week. We shall put the questions out to our patrons, and if you are a Patreon supporter, you are guaranteed your question will be answered. And also, if we don't get so many questions via the Patreon, we will then pass it on to Instagram. So once again, thank you everybody. I hope these have been of help to you, and we shall see you on the next Q&A Wednesday. Thank you very much. Bye bye.